The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. And as we start off the day out here, I've got a few things I have to get situated here. Hang on a second. There we go. We're down a little, but yesterday I talked to you about options rollover. And normally if you've got Monday up, then you get the opposite on Tuesday. So we were up yesterday, you're down today. Normally then you once again flip on that Wednesday, and sometime around noon, 1, 2, you start getting the kind of moves where the market, if it does have a trend, starts to continue again. So we'll take a look at that. I'm not putting a lot of weight on the action of either yesterday or today. But tomorrow, we're out of options rollover, and there's a lot more things to the long-term trend that will develop in the charts of tomorrow. So, don't get too excited today. It would be my opinion. And then we'll do some other things. As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what else do we have? Well, we're off 9 points on the S&P cash. Volume kind of in the range of what we've had for summertime trading, but for a Tuesday, not all that exciting. 1.85 billion shares, so a little better than yesterday. Volume was kind of light, so we're down on a little heavier volume today. Again, Friday is probably going to be light volume, but my guess is if we are going to be making some kind of long-term top, which internals, at least for me, say that there's a good chance of, then we're probably going to see that long-term top either tomorrow afternoon or on Friday. So what else do we have happening out here? Well, a lot of things happening, but I guess we need to start and kick this show off.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating, and on this day, what do we have happening? Bugsy Siegel in 1947 gets shot and killed in his Hollywood girlfriend's house. 1963, the Soviet Union and the United States put together a hotline, a little red phone between the president and the prime minister. Is that prime minister? Yeah, that's it. Also, oil flows in Alaska for the first time in 1977. But the big thing of the day is 1975. Jaws, a film directed by Steven Spielberg, made countless viewers afraid to go back into the water, opens in theaters. I remember seeing this in the Glenwood Theater. It was an old theater that ran 70-millimeter films, and it looked like the grandest theater of all time. Long before they had the big seats that we've got now in theaters, it had those nice velvet seats. It had the killer stereo system, and it had the monster of all screens in the city. It's the story of a great white shark that terrorizes New England's resort town. Became an instant blockbuster and the highest grossing film in history until a couple years later, a little film called Star Wars. Jaws was nominated for Academy Award for the Best Picture category, took home 3 Oscars for Best Film Editing, Special Original Score, and Best Sound. The film, breakthrough for director Spielberg, then 27 years old, spawned 3 sequels, all of them horrible. But this changed the movie business forever in that they saw one really good film could drag people into theaters and get them back into the theater mode. When they couldn't get into the theater to see the movie they came to see, they would go to other films too. And the tentpole idea of theaters have stopped. Mike in Somerville, how you doing? Are you there?
How's it going, Mr. White? Long-time listener, first-time caller to you.
That sounds good. So, what are you thinking?
That's what I'm calling you about. You're the smart one out of the two of us. I was wondering what you were thinking.
Well, I kind of said that at the beginning. I think that we have a good chance of making some kind of at least 3-month high, either Wednesday or Friday. We've been looking at it for a while. Tops are always harder to play than bottoms. Bottoms tend to be fairly direct. Everybody gets washed out, and that's it. Greed is much tougher to spot the top in, but I'm pretty sure that we've got some extremely weak stocks out here. We'll look at some of them today, but I'm thinking that there's a good chance that we see one tomorrow afternoon or on Friday. So we'll have to see how this works out. You know,
I'm very happy to hear you say that, David.
If volume comes in, then I'll change my opinion if facts change. But what do we let me pull this up because I had it in the newsletter today. There we go. Let me just find this real quick and blow it up. Every day in my newsletter.
By the way, I do get your news. I do get your newsletter, by the way.
Okay. I did want to show this because I do put it in every day, and that is that I break down all the volumes of the New York Stock Exchange, Amex, and the NASDAQ. And to give you an idea, we had 5.3 billion shares in all the NYSE stocks on Friday. Yesterday, on the big push, we had a little less than 3.3 billion shares. So whether you look at that or if you want to look at just the total dollar volume, 193 billion on Friday, just 122 billion yesterday. That shows me that there's some kind of weakness in that big move we had yesterday. And, I mean, it was even lighter than Thursday's volume. But we also saw a big change in the dark pool volume yesterday. It shot up to 38% of all the volume out there. And we did have a tinge of what I think is the first signs of a lot of the big guys on the street starting to pull the ripcord short. That being said, they don't all go short on one day, and it's not over. I think we could have maybe a little bounce tomorrow, like 4 or 5 points, and the volume still remain light, and I think that would be a good signal. The other one would be even a little bit higher tomorrow on light volume. That would probably set up some kind of short on Friday.
Can I say something, Dave?
Yep.
Listen, I listen to you a long time, and you don't really say this too often. So I believe when you say it, I really think it means something.
Well, I appreciate it. Anything else?
No, that's it, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, we'll be back after this.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And what do we have going on out here? Well, we're going to look at a couple more charts as we go along here. I wanted to check Caterpillar because it's one of the big ones out here that has not had a lot of juice. It broke on Thursday last week, or was that Friday? Friday broke above the previous high, which is April 26th, that had almost 10 million shares with 7.4 million shares. And of course, yesterday, 4.2 million shares, just a little higher again, yet just a little higher. 3.4, so we're probably going to be in that range today. The energy from this last low on May 18th has been is severely less than the first move up. Let's take a look and see what this expansion would look like. Okay, so you've broken the B with no volume, fairly insignificant volume compared to the previous high. You're off about 30% on the energy from this May 18th low up to from the high today, if you want to compare it from the March 27th low to the April 26th high. So you had a lot of juice in that leg. This one is coming back up. It's hit this little high out here and hadn't had much juice. So that'll be a little of it. We're going to get to play the loser horn today. For Chipotle, however you pronounce it, down on fairly heavy volume. I've been waiting for this thing to come back to 394. Was not exactly sure what was going to do it, but I didn't think much had changed for Chipotle. So far, we're looking at the volume today at 2.5 million shares. He had a big volume day at 3.9 million shares. My guess is you're going to get to that same volume, and that was kind of a spike back on April 26, 3.9 million shares. So what do you got? This just looks like a big trading range from about $500 down to $400, and I didn't see that much interest in the way this was coming up. Don't think anything has truly changed that much. Goldman Sachs, somebody asked me about it yesterday, and of course, it was starting to get into trouble. And of course, what happens when you're looking like things are not going to work out for you at Goldman Sachs? Well, you go to the whip. And the whip, I mean, you go to CNBC, you get your trusty stooge, that Mr. Cramer.
Bring me the head of the false prophet, Jim Cramer.
And you whip the stock up. Of course, one of the things I hate is shorting a stock that is held by somebody that's job is to manipulate stocks. So you always have to be wary of these guys because they're more than willing to put out some phony baloney press release or go on some fellow traveler. There's a little commie lingo in there for you guys in Lutz. Fellow travelers in this. But, you came up to volume. It was about the same as the previous high back on May 25th. There's not a lot of juice in this on the upside. Not exactly sure why, other than the fact that volumes are moving lower, and that is going to be tougher. So you do have a little bit of it. You're up today on, 1.2 million shares compared to the 2.8 million shares yesterday. There's not a lot in this, but again, I'm not a big fan of shorting people whose job it is to manipulate stocks. To other manipulation out here today was Microsoft with a kind of ludicrous call on the an appreciation of 45 or 50% higher. No real clear reason in the call on why that was true. But again, when you're in trouble, it's not uncommon to see a lot of these phony baloney, good time rock and roll, maggot-infested FM-type people out here actually going to the whip out here. Volume's not that bad, 23 million shares. It wouldn't be a stock I'd short anyway, but I didn't understand the whole idea of this. That basically they said cloud business is increasing. Well, that's fine. I just didn't understand the big call out here. Anyway, up on a lighter volume today, comparatively, I can't even say it, comparatively to yesterday's 48 million shares down. And of course, you're going back into 48 million shares on the huge down day of the 9th, which a lot of these stocks are going into now in the tech sector. So wouldn't short it, but more likely that this thing is headed down to 65. And of course, propaganda, yeah, our name is Wall Street. Let's take a quick look at SMHs. Everybody was talking up Apple yesterday, telling everybody how they should buy it and get back into it. It went to a little higher. I'm not going to talk about that. We'll get that chart up. The SMHs went to a little higher high today, 1.6, let's call it 1.7 million shares. That's going right into the bottom of this 9 million share day from the 9th also. So this is where the rubber meets the road in a lot of these stocks. And as we've talked about it, the next real close under the 3x3 displaced moving average is going to start probably the real down move and pullback in a lot of these ballistic parabolic stocks. Yes, I did. I said I called the Wall Street weasels and skunks maggot infested. So that's it. Okay. Just take a quick look at Apple out here. Again, this has kind of had its first move down. It made a fairly decent sell signal. They pushed it up one more time and then it fell apart. I suspect this is kind of what I'm looking at now, which wouldn't be that much different than the rest of the market. Some of them are weaker than others, but probably the stronger stocks like Microsoft and those. Just the next move underneath the 3x3 is probably going to see these things head on down. So we'll look at the rest of these. But again, yesterday the volume wasn't all that exciting, 32 million shares compared to the 64 or 65 million shares on the downside on the 9th. So could this get a little bit higher tomorrow? I'd love it to get in 148.5 or something right into a wall of resistance. And I think that would be pretty good. I'm not very bullish on Apple. one of the reasons is, did I talk about it yesterday? I think I brought it up a little bit. Samsung is blowing out the Samsung 8s. They're getting ready to launch their Notes in August. But it's going to be very expensive to buy, even compared to the Samsung 8. Very expensive the iPhone, the next iPhone. It's going to be very expensive to buy over the Samsung. If it truly is going to be $1,000 and you can buy on time a Samsung for $600 cash and a unlocked version for $480, which is what the deal was yesterday. Pretty big deal, I think. I think that's going to be very pushy for a lot of people upgrading for another $1,000 on their iPhones. So think about that. We'll be back in a minute. We'll look at some more charts. Give me a call at 877-966-48. Be like Mike. Give me a call. And, of course, can email me at TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And somebody wants me to take a look at the TLT. You got an ABC up. You had some decent volume as you went through the B level. You wanted 11.5 million shares. You got 13.2. That would take you to 128.66 on a 1-to-1 ABC. You gapped up today. There's not much juice in this. I could see maybe hitting that 128.66 tomorrow. When we look at commodity prices, of course, continues to be a slug down. Gold's off $3 still. Crude's off 92 cents. Natural gas, it's up what, 1.5 cents. And what else do you have? Silver's off 6.7 cents. Copper's down 3 cents. Just to have kind of a look like this market is looking at some kind of level of deflation instead of inflation. So we don't know about that. We're off 11.5 points on the S&P cash. Volume's 2 billion shares. So we'll look again at this tomorrow. But again, I think we could maybe pop to something like 24.48, something like that, 24.49 tomorrow, and just see the volume kind of wane through. On crude, of course, we're going to have the API numbers out at about 4:30, 4:45 tonight. I guess Andy will be on to cover that in the 5 o'clock hour, and probably Tom will comment on any changes in the futures for crude. It was kind of interesting to actually see that the numbers have been coming down on the Baker Hughes rig count on Friday, but it was still up 1. So we haven't seen a real decrease in that. That may be the first thing that actually gets crude moving higher. As we said, we looked at the TLT. There's nothing in here that doesn't say this hits 128.66 level. So don't know if there's anything else to say about it other than that. We'll go to the FANG stocks again. We looked at Apple. Let's take a quick look at Netflix, NFLX. And a big pop there. A little fade out here. This thing did come off. It never really went up. It went up in 6 million shares yesterday into the 10.3 million shares down of the 9th. So you are kind of getting back up one. This one didn't really even make it. Volume's light, though, today. My guess is that this one may be one of those that pops tomorrow. You'd want to look at this thing at about 160 to pull the trigger on it. Tesla, they tried to pop this thing in the morning. It once again was rejected in that 380 area and has kind of rolled back down a little bit. What do we have out here? Tesla, 372.96 is the last tick. It got to 378. So this area has been kind of resistance here for the last 4 or 5 days. I don't think, when I looked at it, I didn't think that we saw a lot of difference in how many people were shorting it. Let me check that real quick. The big thing on this one is when everybody quits shorting it is probably going to be the time to take a look at it. Last 2 days have been 22% shorts. This is always perennially highly short, but 26, 27%, 28% the last week before that, and 30% the week before that. So you are at least getting a little bit of downturn in the bearishness on some of these stocks that are just going higher, literally on the backs of premature shorts. So I keep on looking at that. It's a $40 stock, printing in at 370, and you just wonder when this thing is going to do the I-Omega dance of death. Anyway, give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. If you have a stock you want to look at, post it in the den. What else do we have? I don't know if this is actually a guy. Real name. It's probably a fake name. Jim Bob. FLSW, is that right? (1-800-Flowers). Jim Bob thinking about flowers. Well, there's no volume in this stock. Kind of tough to say anything. It's probably at support. I don't see a great deal in that one. Let's see. See if we have anything else under the way that news is talking. Any other ones out here? VSLR is another short squeeze brought to you by the Goldman Sachs folks. They found a lot of people in this one betting on it going out of business Event Solar, one of the reasons why you do not short a stock of this size, of this price range anyway. And you got some nice volume up here. This hit $5. I don't think that there's much going on in that. We're going to go to Marie in Pennsylvania. How you doing?
Hi, Dave. I wanted to ask you about Intel. Is this? It doesn't look to me like it's breaking down. Is this a buying opportunity on Intel or not really?
I think the market's kind of pull back. The stock's kind of pull back. I think your buying opportunity is in August in this.
Okay.
I just don't. Yeah, maybe it comes back. On the chart, does it look that bad? Kind of. I mean, the down move that this thing had from the last high was pretty big. So for me, off that June 7th high, the best I would hope that this would consolidate and go sideways for a little while. I mean, that's the best case if you wanted to hold this thing long term. Short term, they've got some new products. Those products are probably not going to catch fire till like August, maybe September. They've got a lot of neat stuff. So that's not it. The problem for these guys is they just don't have anything really to talk about or to push in any meaningful way until that stuff really starts hitting the streets. Some of the samples of that stuff are out. They're going to get into NVIDIA's business in a big way. Unclear when that product hits, but it's rumored to hit around September. So, I mean, I think they're doing a lot of the right things. It's just one of those lulls in the product cycle that is tough to buy right now, September. Looks maybe late August, mid-August, maybe it'll start ramping for all the new stuff coming out in September. Okay. I think their long term is great. But again, it goes back to they're a big company. It takes a lot to move the needle, just like Apple. Right. And they've always got to have new products out. Intel is the only company out here that has profit margins anywhere close to Apple. They pretty much average around 60%, where Apple is about 65%. So they're just a little bit better. Of course, the market's kind of changed. A lot of people using portable devices. They just killed a couple of their cheap products yesterday that were named after like Da Vinci and people like that in the 14th, 15th century. So that doesn't mean that I don't think that they've got any traction in that low end. A lot of people think that's where they need to be. I don't think so. I think that their traction is in the very expensive products, but that stuff, there's some samples of it, but the next version of it, I think, is the one that's going to take. So September. Anything else?
Could you cover advanced micro?
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we come back from the break. I take that as a yes. We'll be back.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
$22.40 on the S&P cash off 12, almost 13 points. Volume is rather tepid at 1.5 billion shares. We're going to Marie, if she's still there.
Yep, still here.
Okay.
Just
Good enough.
curious about how you felt about some of the products that Advanced Micro Devices is supposedly putting out to compete with Intel.
Not that big.
Okay.
They've had a short respite as they put out a new product that's all going to be leapfrogged all over by Intel. So AMD is probably $4 overpriced because everybody thinks that because NVIDIA has made so much money that they are too. I think this talk probably, if reality was around, would be a $9, maybe a $10 stock today instead of $12.50, $12.75. So they're getting a lot of love just on the bank shot from that. They are better than they were. I thought they'd be bankrupt by now. But the new chip's fairly good. But, man, Intel's they're 5% of the size of Intel?
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that. So why they've been able to make one single chip that is at least competitive, the only reason people ever buy their chips is because they're lower priced. So this new chip, actually fairly decent, fairly good on power, kind of a surprise. And a lot of people will go, well, they're going to be in the new Macs. Well, they're only going to be in the new Macs, which aren't selling. So
so much for that.
Yeah, this is a tough, this is like somebody like, a small company going up against Amazon. It's just very, very tough. What they did was everybody, in fact, NVIDIA got lucky and AMD got lucky because NVIDIA got lucky that everybody started doing machine learning. And finally, there was a market for buying video cards. So AMD kind of went after the traditional gamer part of it. NVIDIA went after the people willing to spend $1,000, $2,000, or even $5,000 on a video card. So that's why that thing is up there in the stratosphere. The problem is you're just not going to be able to keep those kind of margins. And again, any kind of lower close on the 3x3 or 9-day moving average, if any move below it on NVIDIA could blow it up. I think everybody knows that, I've got 4 or 5 companies that are making devices that are going to be significantly less for machine learning than buying a big, expensive video card. Google's got one, Intel's got one, Microsoft. It's unclear whether theirs is a rebranded Intel card, but everybody and their dog's going into it. You need to just parts off the very expensive video card to do all the machine learning. So right now, everybody's just using a very expensive video card for something that probably should cost half as much. And when those start to hit, that business is going to go away, and go away in a hurry. NVIDIA is making a competitive card to that, and they have kind of the catbird seat with this. So, but again, even if they sell a card and get all the business, if the price is half as much, then it's going to be tough for them to continue that kind of business. So I think NVIDIA is going to kind of roll. Not exactly when these new products hit, August, and maybe September, maybe October. And when they do, NVIDIA is probably going back to $60. So it may be one of the biggest short, if you can time it right, in the world. It's just their business is going to get yanked. The question is just when. So NVIDIA comes down, AMD is going to come down. My guess is that the winners on this stuff are going to be probably Intel, maybe Google, maybe even Amazon, because Amazon's working on their own machine learning card. So you just never know. But let me put it this way. NVIDIA, the only game in town today, really to speak of, in a few months, they're going to have 4 or 5 competitors for half their business. For half their business.
Yep. So doesn't take much, does it?
No, I mean, they were in a very specific spot. And there's a book I love on technology called Accidental Empires by Kringley. And I recommend anybody that ever trades technology stocks to read it. It's not technical. It's just a history of how most of these guys ended up being big deals. And most of the time it was accidental. They were in the business. They did show up, and lightning struck them, and that was a great deal of it. And NVIDIA, sometimes lightning strikes like this, and then the problem is, how do you continue on with it when everybody starts competing against you? Like I said, they had a very interesting deal, and they didn't even plan it. They had an intern that came in 2010 or 2009, maybe 2011. And this intern said, I think we could use that video card you have, the processors on it, to do high-speed mathematics. So for this summer, I'm going to work on writing a little library to access NVIDIA's graphics chips. And they said, okay. And they shoved him over in the corner and didn't talk to him again.
Oh, my.
Well, he left, released it as an open source project, and then, of course, suddenly everybody's doing video compression, everybody's doing machine learning, all the things that you can use these GPUs for that are going to be replaced by a processing unit. There's a few names out there for it. Basically, it's going to be a machine processing unit that doesn't have any video in and out, but it's going to be used for things like video compression, for all those YouTube videos, for machine learning. If you need a bunch of little tiny processors, that's what basically is on an NVIDIA card. And how fast you can make the memory and how fast you can make the processor is a big deal. But you need lots of memory on it, and you need lots of speed between the memory and those tiny processors. So it's kind of a very narrow market. AMD, probably the best opportunity for them would be somebody to buy them out and just take their technology on buying and building those graphic chips. But Intel bought out some companies years ago, so they don't need it. Microsoft, I don't think, wants to get into it. And I think the people at Amazon and Google who are making their own stuff too for their own web services businesses want something that's cheap. So I don't know. It just seems like this whole business going back to AMD, this is one of these things where there's going to be a couple of bank shots, and timing it's going to be tough. But my guess is when NVIDIA starts heading down, this thing is probably going to go back to $5.
Well, I appreciate you going through that.
Okay, there's a lot of things happening, a lot of moving. moving pictures out here. That's it. Anyway, we'll talk about this. Thanks for the call, Marie. And we'll get back to the market already in progress over most of this station.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And crude off 92 cents. I asked Andy Heck. I don't know if he's in the audience already. No, it doesn't look like it. He'll be on later with Tom O'Brien to write an article about whether or not the offshore drillers were the coal companies of a couple of years ago. Mostly because it just looked to me like after several times when crude should have held levels, it continued breaking down, and I didn't think much about it. But I certainly thought that as it came down, those offshore drillers would be the first to be hit. A lot of people hated my comments on the Seeking Alpha piece that he wrote, but what can you say? I think my opinion stands up fairly well. But the company that is going to eat all companies, Amazon, the Borg, with its CEO, Mr. Kane, for those people that get my drift out there, Citizen Kane, running the whole show. Ellis International, one of a handful of these companies. Most of these are not real big volume companies, but you basically have a fairly light volume test finally of the previous lows in Perry so far today. Just 24 million shares going back into 117 million shares on May 17th. What's some other ones out here? COLM. Amazon's decided it's going to get in the retail apparel business. Also down on almost no volume today. Columbia Sportswear down fairly strongly today. 102,000 shares though, which is 300,000 shares yesterday, and it went nowhere or the day before. So are you just in big trading ranges? Kind of a horrible business. J.C. Penney's down. A handful of other ones, but nothing else. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to look at before the end of the day. We didn't look at Amazon, so let's take a quick look at that. Again, a retest of the top yesterday on 5 million shares going into the 3.3 million shares on June 6th. Again, if you're playing this, I have one word to say. That is options. You got to limit your exposure. If you're long or if you're short, there's absolutely no reason to be short the equity on this. Options are fairly inexpensive, and my guess is that you're always one day away from them buying the rest of the country and just owning us all as slaves, or a edict coming out from the Department of Justice. These guys are the poster child, an all-time poster child for restriction of trade, and this thing drops $300. All you should do is go back and look at that, was it 1999 or 2000 drop down where Microsoft was off 35% in one day when that happened. And I think you're going to get it. I don't know if it's next week or next year, but if you're going to play this, why not use options? The VIX is low. A lot of other things give you an opportunity to take risk off instead of putting a lot on in this, either short or long. I just don't understand it. But you did have a test, which suggests you're going to hit 1,017 again, maybe tomorrow. Maybe there's no volume up there again, and then this thing starts to pull back. But it's probably the strongest stock in the stock market right now. And, that's kind of what you'd like to see, is this thing drive up a little bit more, drag a few of the weaker stocks a little higher, and pull the trigger, I think, tomorrow. Strain to trade. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. And, of course, sell when you can, not when you can.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.